Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're going to talk about the Indus Valley Civilization, one of the oldest civilizations in the world. The Indus Valley Civilization was located in the northwestern region of the Indian subcontinent, covering present-day Pakistan, northwest India, and eastern Afghanistan. It existed from around 3300 BCE to 1300 BCE, making it one of the earliest urban civilizations in the world. So, let's get started. Geography and chronology. The Indus Valley Civilization was spread across a vast area that included the fertile plains of the Indus River and its tributaries, the Ghaggar-Hakra River system. The civilization was named after the Indus River, which flows through the region. The cities of this civilization were located along the banks of the Indus and its tributaries, which made it easier for the people to carry out trade and transportation. The Indus Valley Civilization is divided into three phases: the early Harappan phase, the mature Harappan phase, and the late Harappan phase. The early Harappan phase was marked by the emergence of small villages and towns, while the mature Harappan phase saw the rise of large, sophisticated urban centers. The late Harappan phase witnessed the decline and eventual collapse of the civilization. Urban planning. One of the most remarkable features of the Indus Valley Civilization was its urban planning. The cities of this civilization were well planned and well organized, with well laid out streets, public buildings, and houses. The cities were divided into two parts, the citadel and the lower town. The citadel was a raised area of the city that housed the ruling elite, while the lower town was the residential area for the common people. Streets. The streets were straight and cut each other at right angles. They were 13 to 34 feet wide and were well lined. The streets and roads divided the city into rectangular blocks. Archaeologists have discovered the lamp posts at intervals. This suggests the existence of street lights. Dustbins were also provided on the streets. These prove the presence of good municipal administration. Drainage system. One of the most remarkable features of the Indus Valley Civilization is that the city was provided with an excellent closed drainage system. Each house had its own drainage and soak pit which was connected to the public drainage. Brick-laid channels flowed through every street. They were covered and had manholes at intervals for cleaning and clearing purposes. Large brick culverts with corbelled roofs were constructed on the outskirts of the city to carry excess water. Thus Indus people had a perfect underground drainage system. No other contemporary civilization gave so much attention to cleanliness. The Great Bath. The most striking feature in Mohenjo-daro is the Great Bath. It consists of a large quadrangle. In the center, there is a huge swimming pool with the remains of galleries and rooms on all four sides. It has a flight of steps at either end and is fed by a well, situated in one of the adjoining rooms. The water was discharged by a huge drain with corbelled roof more than 6 feet in depth. The Great Bath had 8 feet thick outer walls. This solid construction has successfully withstood the natural ravages for 5,000 years. There were arrangements for hot water bath in some rooms. Granaries. The largest building in Mohenjo-daro is Granary, which is 45.71 mtrs long and 15.23 mtrs wide. In Harappa there are a series of brick platforms which form the base for 2 rows of 6 granaries each. In the southern part of Kalibangan, brick platforms have also been found. These granaries safely stored the grains, which were probably collected as revenue or store houses to be used in emergencies. Buildings. People of Indus Valley Civilization built houses and other buildings by the side of roads. They built terraced houses of burnt bricks. Every house had 2 or more rooms. There were also more than 1-storied houses. The houses were designed around an inner courtyard and contained pillared halls, bathrooms, paved floors, kitchen, well, etc. Besides residential quarters, elaborate structures have also been found. One of these buildings has got the biggest hall, measuring 80 feet long and 80 feet wide. It might have been a palace, or temple or hall for holding meetings. The workmen quarters are also found. There was an excellent system of water supply. There were public wells by the side of streets. Every big house had its own well. They also built a dockyard at Lothal. Economy. Economic life of the Indus Valley Civilization. The Indus Valley Civilization's economy was largely based on agriculture and animal husbandry. Agriculture. Agriculture was the main profession of the people of Indus Valley. The land was pretty fertile when the Harappans used to live there. In the cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, leftovers of large granaries were found that suggest that they produced was more than their requirements. Barley and wheat were grown by them on a large scale. They also grew some other crops such as pulses, cotton, cereals, dates, melons, pea, etc. There was no clear evidence of rice. But some grains of rice were found in Rangpur and Lothal. The Indus Valley Civilization is said to be an agro-commercial civilization as most of the people were peasants. The Harappan were the first people to grow cotton. Domestication of animals. Animal husbandry was another occupation for the sustenance of the Indus Valley Civilization. The seals depicted animals and suggested that they domesticated cows, buffalo, goats, sheep, pigs, etc. Camels and jackasses were also domesticated and were used as beasts of burden. Bones of camels have been obtained in large numbers from many sites, but there is no sign of them on the seals. During the excavation in Surkotado in Gujarat, the jawbone of a horse was found. Terracotta figures of a horse have been found at Nasharo and Lothal. Crafts and industries. The Indus Valley people were highly skilled. They made pottery, metal vessels, tools and weapons, weaving and spinning, dyeing and other crafts. The weavers wore clothes of cotton and wool. They knew about leather, but there is no evidence of silk to be found. The people of this civilization belonged to the Bronze Age and used tools made of stone, but they knew about gold, silver, copper, lead, and bronze. Ornaments making was also an occupation of the Indus Valley people. They made very fine-looking and artistic ornaments using gold, silver, precious stones, etc. Many people were engaged in bead making at Mohenjo-daro, Chanhodaro, and Lothal. They used various precious stones such as carnelian, lapis, lazuli, agate, and jasper to make beads. Shell working was also a prosperous industry for the Indus Valley Civilization. The artisans of coastal settlements used shells to make pendants, rings, bracelets, beads, etc. They used a potter's wheel to make glossy pottery. Some structures were made of burnt or mud bricks, which means bricklaying was an essential craft. Trade and commerce. The archaeological remains such as enormous granaries, multiple seals of clay, instruments to measure weight were found by archaeologists in Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, and Lothal, suggesting that the people of Indus Valley were involved in trade and export. To produce crafts, they needed a variety of raw materials. Clay was available locally, but they had to acquire metal outside the alluvial plain. Raw materials were brought into town through trade routes by traders and craftsmen. They were then used to make jewelry, pottery, and metalware. Bullock carts were used to transport goods from one place to another. They also used the river routes along the Indus and its tributaries for transportation. Religion and culture. The religion of the Indus Valley Civilization is not well understood, as there is no written record of it. However, archaeologists have found many artifacts that suggest that the people of this civilization worshipped a variety of deities. They also performed rituals and made offerings to these deities. Neolithic religion. The urban civilization of Indus Valley is centered on the goddess religious system. Urbanization in places like Elam, Turkmenistan, common religious patterns was practiced. The antecedents of this religion lie in the village cultures of Afghanistan and Baluchistan that were part of larger regional culture systems in the western part of Asia. Neolithic religion consists of cults, rituals, and religious concepts. Neolithic religion was divergent, unlike the prehistoric period like the Paleolithic and Mesolithic. It was characterized by human activity and climatic changes similar to present times. These prejudices gave rise to unique ideologies, settlements and permanent settlements, domestication of plants and animals, especially with important technological inventions such as ceramics. These achievements were identified as major achievements of the Neolithic Revolution. Pashupatinath Seal. The Pashupatinath Seal is also known as the Proto-Shiva Seal Mahayogi Seal. The seal symbolizes the seated figure of Pashupati, which is the reincarnation of the Lord of Animals, the Hindu god Shiva. The seated human figure has 3 heads and is thought to have an erect penis. This interpretation of the deity on the seal has been explained as the deity having a horned headdress and is surrounded by animals, representing the horns. On the seal, the human figure of Pashupati is surrounded by 4 wild animals, which are a tiger, an Indian rhinoceros, a water buffalo, and an elephant. Beneath the dais, curved 2 deer are looking backwards such that their curved horns join at the center. This is known for having the most complicated designs among the thousands of seals found in the Indus Valley Civilization. The seal was found in the southern portion of Mohenjo-daro excavation site in 1928. The Pashupati seal carved in steatite measures 3.56 cm by 3.53, with a width of 0.76 cm. Before the partition, the National Museum of New Delhi preserved this seal and other artifacts and findings of Mohenjo-daro. It was later allocated to India. Worshipping of trees and snakes in Indus Valley Civilization. Discovery has shown that worshipping trees and snakes was considered sacred. The worshipping of the peepal tree was widespread during this period. One of the seals shows God amidst the branches of a peepal tree, and a devotee was worshipping him as there were no temples during the Indus Valley Civilization. People believed that God resided in trees. Naga Cult. The Indus Valley Civilization was one of the oldest known civilizations. In the minds of the early men, there was fear of nature and powerful animals. In this period, the tradition of worshipping snakes or totemism was prevalent. Several seals and seal impressions with serpents' figures were discovered. On one of the seals, there is a representation of a major god with a buffalo head, 2 additional man deities on both sides, and a snake in the standing posture behind each of them. A snake wrestling a bull was discovered on another seal. Linga Worship. The Indus Valley people's religious beliefs are still a mystery today. Director General of Archaeology John Marshall misled the world when he made broad comments about artifacts he uncovered at Mohenjo-daro. Some artifacts were described as phallic worship symbols by him. He explained that the circular stone artifacts represented female genital organs, whereas the lingam-shaped stones represented male parts. Those might reach a height of up to 2 feet. Lingas, batyless stones, and ring stones were the 3 types of items identified by Marshall.